Decoupling from the US? Russian signboards appear in various places in China. Scores of aggrieved people cry out in Bao Gong Temple. China's real estate dilemma and marriage slump lead to continuous decline in diamond sales. High-ranking officials visiting China hacked 135 times per hour. Belgium promotes secure phones. Beijing promotes chip decoupling. Domestic automakers urge to increase use of domestic chips. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Decoupling from the US? Russian signboards appear in various places in China. Recently, social media users have reported that in northeast China, notably in scenic areas like Harbin, road signs are now displayed in Russian, and signs on highways throughout the area have shifted from bilingual Chinese-English to solely Chinese. Additionally, the recent Two Sessions press conference eliminated English translations. General Yu Zongji, the former dean of the Political Warfare College at the National Defense University, mentioned that these changes in road signage mirror the thinking of the authorities. Rumors have been circulating that Xi Jinping has covertly directed a wide-ranging de-Americanization effort in China, targeting U.S. technology and cultural influences emblematic of American power, with language being a primary focus. The Chinese Communist Party recognizes the improbability of a near-term reconciliation in its standoff with the United States. Furthermore, China is bracing for a comprehensive embargo by the U.S. in the technology domain. Given the limited retaliatory options available, the CCP's strategy involves the total elimination of American influence within China. According to Yu Zongji, these measures, while signaling a warmth towards Russia, unmistakably show the CCP's intent to solidify its tight relationship with Russia, thereby exacerbating its standoff with the US and other Western nations. The shift from English to Russian signage is a clear manifestation of this policy. Despite global sanctions, Russian oil continues to flow into China, underscoring the unbroken, and even intensifying, economic, trade, and military cooperation between China and Russia. Xi Jinping's overarching aim is to counteract the U.S.'s strategic encirclement of China by significantly enhancing ties and collaboration with Russia. This pushback against the United States is only in its initial stages, and it is expected that more extensive de-Americanization efforts will progressively unfold across mainland China. Scores of aggrieved people cry out in Bao Gong Temple. On March 12, an emotionally charged video captured at the Bao Gong Temple in Kaifeng, Hunan, rapidly spread across the internet. It showed a woman, dressed in orange, kneeling and gripping a railing while deeply sobbing in front of a Bao Gong statue. This heartrending scene struck a chord with onlookers, prompting them to question the depth of injustice she must have faced to bring her to such a public display of despair. Unlike the other visitors, who knelt in reverence, her profound distress stood out as she wept uncontrollably, her body trembling with each sob. This poignant moment stirred widespread conversation among netizens across mainland China, with many empathizing with the woman's plight. Given Bao Gong's historical legacy as a champion of justice for the common folk, observers speculated that the mere sight of his statue might have sparked a flood of emotions in her, offering a brief solace as she sought to unburden her heart. Comments flooded in, with people noting, her public outpouring of pain reflects not just personal anguish but a broader sense of powerlessness. Who else would resort to such open lamentation but someone driven to the edge of despair? 2 days later, on March 14, the woman at the heart of this viral sensation revealed her identity as judicial corruption fighter ABC Online. She confirmed she was the one captured crying in the video, explaining that her despair was rooted in a grave injustice by the Chantu court, which had devastated her family. She detailed how the court's deceitful practices and the officials' blatant solicitation of bribes had compounded her suffering, leaving her, a woman from a rural background, without any means to seek redress. Overwhelmed by the sight of the Bao Gong statue during a visit to her cousins in Kaifeng, she felt compelled to kneel and pour out her grief, pleading for divine intervention. "O Bao Gong, please show your spirit." The widespread reaction to the video underscored a palpable sense of public indignation, leading to the removal of related articles, leaving behind a trail of 404 errors. Increasing number of unjust cases in China drives victims to seek justice at Bao Gong Temple. The viral video of the woman weeping before a statue of Bao Gong ignited a wave nationwide. Numerous individuals similarly broadcasted their distress and quest for justice, many at the temple itself. A poignant scene of a mother and her daughters, kneeling and crying loudly, highlighted by independent Chinese media, touched many, leading them to question the depths of their suffering. Netizens mockingly suggested every province might as well establish its own representation in Kaifeng, and there were mockingly remarks about the legendary judge Bao Gong adjudicating from the afterlife. Suggestions to build more Bao Gong temples to manage the influx of pleas for justice, and semi-serious worries about the temple, or even Bao Gong, being overwhelmed, emerged. A significant proposal was for the creation of a special court in Kaifeng to specifically handle these grievances. Conversations on social media platform X convey the desperation felt by those cornered by an inflexible legal system, highlighting the absence of recourse and a call for continued pushback. Some pondered whether Bao Gong, as a beacon of judicial integrity, might soon be off-limits, underlining the paradox of seeking solace in historical figures when contemporary systems falter. This reflects broader criticism of China's legal environment, viewed as being swayed by political, societal, and personal interests over the rule of law, leaving the public yearning for the justice that Bao Gong symbolizes. Bao Gong Temple under stability enforcement. On March 15, a user on Platform X posted a screenshot claiming that the CCP authorities in Kaifeng have started enforcing stability measures at the Bao Gong Temple and Longting Park to prevent aggrieved individuals from weeping there. Bao Gong himself humorously imagined questioning, "Who have I possibly offended that they need to stabilize me?" This highlights the absurdity prevalent in China. Reacting to this, Zhao Lanjian, a former Chinese journalist, expressed on March 14 via Platform X that the gathering of petitioners at Bao Gong Temple could set off a domino effect. He criticized China's petitioning system as a hollow ritual, a dark and inescapable cycle of despair. He described a dysfunctional system exploiting national stability funds, squandering national vigor, and manipulating those seeking justice. Zhao shared his personal experience of being defrauded twice in real estate deals in Hainan. He described how an apartment bought for his parents in Wenchang, Hainan, has not been delivered even after 7 years of full payment, leaving his parents trapped in a relentless cycle of petitioning and interception. He recounted feeling compelled to return to China to lament at Bao Gong Shrine after police harassed his parents in Wenchang. Moreover, Zhao highlighted the politicization of grief in China, where expressing sorrow is interpreted as a threat to the state and socialism. He condemned the CCP's view of the public's cries for justice as attempts to destabilize society, encapsulating China as a place where even the act of crying is repressed. China's real estate dilemma and marriage slump lead to continuous decline in diamond sales. During a period marked by a real estate crisis shaking consumer confidence and COVID-19 restrictions sidelining marriage celebrations, China's diamond market is facing a downturn. The Financial Times reports that according to independent diamond analyst Paul Zimnisky, diamond jewelry sales in Greater China fell 3% last year to $12.8 billion. Although this region encompasses Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan, the bulk of demand comes from mainland China. Expectations for rapid growth in the Greater China area have been dashed, with the market shrinking for the second year in a row. As a result, industry insiders are bracing for continued weakness in the prices of natural rough diamonds. Al Cook, the CEO of De Beers, the largest diamond mining company globally, highlighted that the slump in China's demand stems from fewer people buying homes and the prolonged lockdowns disrupting traditional engagement and wedding plans. Prices for natural polished diamonds plummeted by 18% last year, driven by waning demand from China, per WWW International Diamond Consultants. Meanwhile, American consumers have shown a robust appetite for diamonds, including those that are lab-grown. CNBC revealed that Ankur Daga, the founder and CEO of Angara, a high-end jewelry e-commerce firm, observed that around Valentine's Day, American spending on jewelry reached a new high of $6.4 billion, representing 10% of the year's total jewelry expenditure. Daga also noted a shift in preferences, with the proportion of engagement rings featuring colored gemstones rising from about 5% a decade ago to over 15% today. Conversely, Nikunj Haresh Dobaria from the diamond wholesaling company Zuri, Hong Kong, reported a 50% decline in China's demand for natural diamonds compared to before the pandemic. Speaking to the Financial Times, Dobaria expressed, "Doing business in China is currently very challenging. Wedding cold wave. Pandemic-induced lockdowns leading to a decline in marriages have further dampened China's diamond market. Data from the Ministry of Civil Affairs shows a drastic fall in the number of marriages, from a peak of 13.5 million couples in 2013 to just 6.8 million couples in 2022. Analysts point out that the marriage rate's downward trajectory is linked to China's shrinking population. Lai Mingyi, a research manager at Beijing Dashua Consulting, shared with the Financial Times that a significant barrier for young people, particularly in committing to marriage, is financial instability. Women, in particular, are increasingly opting out of marriage. A 2021 survey among 2,900 unmarried urban youths indicated nearly 44% of women intend to remain single. The economic downturn has even impacted wedding traditions, with many prospective brides, including Liang Bobo, 25-year-old financial manager from Nanjing, deciding against diamond engagement rings. Liang says, "The slowing economy and bleak prospects for future earnings have made me cautious. I prefer to avoid investing in items that lose value immediately after purchase." High-ranking officials visiting China hacked 135 times per hour. Belgium promotes secure phones. On Friday, March 15, the Belgian government declared that its ministers, senior officials, and diplomats will be outfitted with smartphones and computers featuring a cutting-edge security system. This initiative is aimed at thwarting hacking attempts and preventing eavesdropping or interception of communications. The Justice Department highlighted the critical importance of securing information, referencing the intense cyber attacks experienced by the Economic and Trade Delegation during their 2019 visit to China, where they encountered 135 hacker attempts per hour. Cybersecurity expert Geert Baudwins, who accompanied the delegation, shared in a post-visit interview with Belgian media that the delegation was aware of the cyber threats in China but underestimated their severity. Baudwins revealed that some attacks even tried to install malware on his computer, allowing hackers to continue their intrusions even after his return to Belgium. He noted the presence of mobile poll devices around their hotel in Beijing, which funneled all traffic through a specific network, heightening their alertness. Justice Minister Van Tichelt acknowledged on Friday that Belgium has long been in the crosshairs of espionage efforts. He said, "The extent of eavesdropping activities is undeniable. We are under no illusions." Belgium's communication vulnerabilities have made even allied nations wary of sharing sensitive information. Regarding the latest advanced security system, reports from VRT, a Flemish broadcaster, and the Brussels Times indicate that the move is intended to safeguard sensitive information from being compromised by foreign nations or criminal entities. This groundbreaking security technology for smartphones was wholly developed within Belgium by the newly formed Belgian Security Communications (BSC) agency, operating under the auspices of the Federal Justice Department. Prime Minister Alexander De Croo emphasized that with the imminent rollout of smartphones and laptops, all ministers, department heads, and essential staff will be able to securely exchange messages, make phone calls, and engage in teleconferences. This solution is pivotal for facilitating swift decision-making during crises. These updated devices are scheduled for distribution next week. Beijing promotes chip decoupling. Domestic automakers urged to increase use of domestic chips. Bloomberg reports that as of March 15, China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology has issued guidelines urging electric vehicle (EV) manufacturers to increase their procurement of domestic electronic components and accelerate the adoption of local semiconductor chips. Initially, the ministry had an informal target for automakers to source 20% of their chips domestically by 2025, but now deems this pace too slow. Insiders, speaking anonymously due to the sensitive nature of this information, revealed that the ministry is pushing for a reduction in the use of foreign semiconductor chips, suggesting that international chip makers would need to collaborate with Chinese firms like SMIC and Huahong for local production. During a recent tender by a major Chinese carmaker, a bid from a foreign company that was 30% lower than the winning bid still failed to secure the contract, highlighting a clear preference for domestic suppliers. This policy isn't new. The Yomiuri Shimbun reported last September on Beijing's push for domestic chip use to strengthen the local EV supply chain, potentially sidelining component manufacturers from the US, Japan, and Europe. This initiative reflects Beijing's broader strategy to counteract US sanctions and export controls by fostering its domestic tech industry. The move introduces uncertainty into the competition for China's EV chip market, challenging global giants like NVIDIA, NXP Semiconductors, Surrey Electronics, and Texas Instruments. European stock markets reacted on March 15, with shares of EV chip exporters to China, such as Infineon and STMicroelectronics, falling by 4.8% and 2.2%, respectively. Chinese EV companies, from industry giants like BYD to startups like NIO, rely on a mix of international components, including processors from NVIDIA, for smart vehicle functionalities. However, requests for comments from the MIIT, BYD, NIO, and Geely by Bloomberg went unanswered. The report suggests the Chinese government is bolstering its fledgling chip industry to close the technological gap with international competitors, essential for economic growth and geopolitical leverage. The ministry's directive aligns with Beijing's ambition for technological supremacy, especially as the U.S. scrutinizes Chinese smart vehicles for data and cybersecurity risks. U.S. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo has expressed concern about the potential for data from Chinese-made vehicles to be accessed by Beijing. She leads an investigation that could result in restrictions or tariffs on Chinese cars in the U.S., underscoring the potential for increased U.S. import restrictions on Chinese-made vehicles following the ministry's push for domestic chip usage. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.